Hey everyone, this is awesome. It's me, Kevin Austin. I'm in my cart and I'm on a Google Hangout call with my buddy Donnie, and you are listening to the least CC powerful podcast on the internet. It's time to turn that dial to Nintendo Drive. Bong! Greetings, Koopalings! My name is Donnie Reese, and welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Shack. That's right, the Shack is back. I'm joined tonight by my sister from another Mr. Miss Caroline. How are you?
Greetings, Koopa grown-ups as well. Koopalings and Koopa grown-ups. I would be lying if I said it was okay. I'm not okay. Because there's some big changes happening in my life, and...
But they're good changes.
They're good changes. We have agreed to buy that house that we were talking about last week on Shack, and the mayhem in terms of closing and loan applications and all this fun stuff is starting. And we're closing on March the 4th, so yay. It's going to be a few more hectic weeks, and I may miss some episodes of Shack, but I'm going to try and make it.
Nice.
Every time.
It's always a rewarding time when you do that. It's a lot of stress and it's a lot of, hectic and moving and
right.
And struggle, but it's also memorable. I always remember, at least for me, I always remember those times quite fondly. Have a lot of fun eating out, going out to dinner, moving boxes, packing up things, unboxing things, throwing away things, getting new things. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys miss me?
Yes. So we were joking about, last week. I'm sure you probably listened. It's just the reason it's so short is because Donnie didn't give his 20-minute review of
Travis Strikes Again.
No, but it's fine because we were just while we were doing it, it's let's add another question and another question and another question. So it's good to have some, I wouldn't say long-winded discussions, but some in-depth discussions rather.
Nice. I enjoyed the show. I was enjoying the Jason and Kuro show. And with that said, let's go ahead and cover this now because I imagine other people in the chat will probably ask as the show goes on. We are a man down this evening. A lot of folks will notice that Jason Lacey's not with us. Unfortunately, I'm happy to report, he's decided he needs to take some time away and focus on family and his personal life, which I can totally understand. And, this hobby saps a lot of time, not just the hour it takes to record, but the effort it goes into to prepare. Plus, he has his own other show, has its own Patreon, so he has time commitments for that. And then Discord, it gets to be a lot. And so he's decided he needs to take some time away, which we completely and fully support. We love you, Jason, and we can't wait for you to come back. We have no idea if and when you'll come back, but he knows that the chair is always open.
Yep.
Here
on Nintendo.
Yes, yeah. Episode 1. He was there before the Shack was the Shack. Back when the Shack was just a joke. It was me, Jason, and Kevin. So definitely. Shouts out to one Jason Lacey.
In the meantime, we are here to hold the fort down, if you can call it a fort.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to be permanent host. I'm typically not good at the following information. We want to remind everybody that we are Patreon powered. And you can support our Patreon like our producers do, and we want to say thank you to them. So thank you, Coach. I always say Coach because it's Coach Hulk. Yeah, Coach Hulk, Callow, Dev, Kevin, Chris, Kyle, Joel, Josh, Borboni, Bonesaw, and our newest Patreon producers, Barry Cathcart and Paul Calicote.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Paul has been one of our most active listeners, since the beginning, OG, episode 1. So the fact he's still sticking with us is a tribute to him and himself. So we thank you all. Remember, you can support us by going over there to patreon.com/PSVG, where you can sign up to be a producer, to sign up for thank you tweets. We have a mailing list, and we have monthly game giveaways. The Board with Video Game Crew just gave away their patron raffle. All you have to do is be a patron. You put in anything you want, and you're entered into the patron raffle. This month is the OT. So I'm sure they'll be announcing this week what they're doing, and then in a couple weeks, we'll have another patron raffle. And then at the end of every month, we do PSVG DLC. the exclusive podcast for just our patrons. Kind of R-rated After Dark type show. So, yeah, if you're interested in any of that, go over there, give it a try. We'd appreciate it. On with the show?
On with the show.
Caroline, what have you been playing?
Well, I'll go first because I know you've got this huge spiel. You say nothing much, but we have not talked about...
I haven't been playing much anything. If you want to talk about...
We'll talk about your purchase in a second. I haven't been playing much. Just some Stardew Valley because, as I said, it's kind of been a stressful time and I needed some ways to relax and unwind. And Stardew is kind of like any sort of farming simulator game is my go-to for chilling out. And if I'm doing menial, repetitive tasks in a game, I feel in control. Whereas I can't be in control of what's going on in real life right now, aside from making lists and doing budgets and all that stuff. So this is a nice way of having me time and feeling like I can actually do something that I have control over. So that's it. And sadly, because of all of this stuff going on, I'm going to have to start doing a hiatus on the stream. It has not happened yet, but I fear it's going to happen soon because normally after I work with my regular day job, I get on and I do my stream for a couple of hours. But that's going to have to be taken up now by packing boxes and getting ready to come out. So I don't know how long it will last. Obviously, until I get a brand new setup in my new house. And by the way, there will be a game room. It is already picked out. It is the lowest floor in the house, and it's going to be beautiful. I keep thinking of the end game just to make it all worthwhile, and so I don't freak out. I'm just like, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, Stardew. That's it. I'm kind of capping myself off on buying games, anything new, and playing anything new, just because we're budgeting
until Yoshi.
Bucks. Yes, Yoshi's on pre-order. So everything that I have to have this year: Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion.
All 11 of Nintendo's first-party games that are dropping this year.
I actually am not going to get a Daemon Ex Machina until I hear some stuff.
Sure.
But you know, like the diehard, really loved titles that I'm already well acquainted with, I will probably be getting all of those, plus all of my figures every month, and the amiibo are, you know, on. Those are the only things, but hopefully soon I'll be back in the swing of things. Just once we get a few months out of the way, we get back on our feet.
Sure.
Now you've made a cool purchase.
Is it?
It's a cool purchase, and it's a purchase that I judge you for because you've had 2 opportunities and you have blown it, and now you have zero excuse to do anything with selling this.
Yeah, you guys popped the news last week on the show. You guys let everybody know that I had bought a modded Wii U, which wasn't to be honest, wasn't something I was planning on talking about. A lot of people are real touchy with their piracy, you know, modded qualms and ROMs and things like that. We did buy a modded Wii U. The story begins with my interest in. I was thinking about buying an Ultra HDMI Nintendo 64. That's kind of where this is rooted in. They're very expensive, like $300, $400, $500, $600 expensive. They're very expensive, and so I was looking around one of those, which led me ultimately like thinking about getting a GameCube with an HDMI port, and they've got like these new ports that have come out in the last couple years that are like $100 that you can plug into HDMI, which is pretty fun, and it really makes the games look great. And they're like $200-$300 if you know with the GameCube and the games if you get the HDMI thing and everything. So ultimately, I found my way just surfing around eBay looking for these things across a couple sellers that do this thing. They mod Wii U's,
right? And
the sell was the fact that not only do they mod the Wii U, but it comes with GameCube games, like 100 of them. I have a pile library of GameCube games that run great on the Wii U. They look really good. I mean, for their age, I always try to say things because I don't know how you feel about this. It's weird when you talk about retro or old games. So
sure.
Like a month ago, I talked about how I played The Last of Us Remastered, which by all accounts is like a beautiful game, but like looks dated compared to other games on the platform now, right? Like The Last of Us Remastered doesn't look as good as Horizon, but obviously it looks like way better than Star Fox Adventures. But for its age, considering that it's modded on Wii U, the game, like the GameCube games look great. They're really bright and they're vibrant.
I have no problems when I go back to GameCube games. It's the N64 games that are very jarring to me. I don't know. I feel so much.
They're just really polygonal.
Yeah, so much of what Switch has done, and even Wii and Wii U, I feel like there was not much of a graphical shift for the longest time that I'm kind of used to it and okay with it. So I just see it as like a style and not so... GameCube still has that style that Nintendo is known for now, and it's not so much... I'm not looking at polygons in comparison to like N64, if that makes any sense.
Sure. So anyway, I decided to buy one, and the seller was great. He let me make up my own list of games. He gave me a spreadsheet I get to pick from.
Awesome.
It came with a terabyte hard drive, so I have a terabyte of ROMs on the GameCube. On the Wii U. And the thing that sold me is there are no launchers or like weird things that I have to do to make it run. They're all games just listed on the gamepad's UI as normal. And when you boot it up, they even made like little images that look just like the virtual consoles. So they boot up with like a GameCube, and then you just start playing the game. Dang. And they, if we ever do get GameCube virtual console support, people are going to be really excited because these things play and run like really well on a Wii U gamepad, which I know is low res, but even being that, like, it runs fairly decent.
It's basically a portable,
Kind of.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. So we've been messing around with that. My kids are probably getting the most enjoyment out of it than me so far. It's because Super Bowl, I didn't play anything. I mean, I just didn't. I've been playing Football Heroes Turbo and basically like Into the Breach. And that's basically all I had time to play. We did have one.
Did it work yet?
I didn't. I almost did.
So many people I know are just playing it.
I have a gift card. Well, like the Xbox Drive was over the moon about it.
Right.
I believe Game Informer loved Wargroove. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts talk about Wargroove and how good it is. The whole creating features, sharing features, crossplay features, like really nice. I'm really excited about it. I even have a gift card. I had it in my cart. Was going to buy it and play it, and then like I reminded myself that I've barely played like Banner Saga.
Yeah,
I've played a bit of Into the Breach, but I haven't like beat it. I have a lot of turn-based games on Switch, no less. I still haven't played like Civ. Like I bought Civ and everything, and really haven't sat down and played it because Travis Strikes Again and all these other games. So I really can just kind of talk myself out of it. I gotta stop buying these slow turn-based RPGs. I'll get Wargroove. I know I will. I will get it in time. But I mean, ever since I got back from Super Bowl, I've been playing Resident Evil 2 and Life is Strange. So I've just been sitting on my Xbox since Monday. So I haven't really been doing much on Switch, to be honest, outside of little Wii U stuff, which is fun. I like having all the games back. I've got all the N64 games. You know what? Playing WCW NWO Revenge on a gamepad is a rewarding experience. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just to do that. Or playing like Blitz or NBA Jam. Like it really makes just kind of like the Wii U system feel like incredibly valuable. It's almost like, man, I really wish that they just did this on all their consoles, that they had like this full library of all this stuff, licensed stuff and everything, because it's just really good. You can find a lot of time find a lot of value in just kind of like wasting your time, just like messing around with games, opening up ROM. Like today I played like Tony Hawk for like 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
For like no reason. I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? Play Tony Hawk 4. And I'm just sitting there on a gamepad, like...
Did you get the SSX games?
Oh, yeah. Also, on the GameCube front, I kind of went crazy. Like, there's a few Wii U games that I think I'm missing that I may actually buy because they're cheap. But on the GameCube side, I think I've got everything I could possibly want. I've got all the Suda stuff. I got Beautiful Joe's. I got the Capcom 5. Animal Crossing actually looks really, really good.
I saw on the
Doesn't
TV.
Doesn't it look good?
Like, I mean, you'd worry that on a widescreen, even though you shrunk it down to the 4:3, it looks great. I'm so excited for Victoria. Like, I don't know how she's going to take it going from New Leaf back to the original Animal Crossing, but the original Animal Crossing is still my favorite after New Leaf. So I promise.
She likes it. She's digging it. She's just playing it. She's not doing much. She's just like it. She thinks it's cool. So yeah, things like that. But that's it. Really, that's it. I got to get through Resident Evil and I did beat Life is Strange. I got to get through those before I come back to Switchland next week. And I did play. We had a really slow night, I think, on Friday, and we did hook up the Switch to our TVs in the EOC, and I sat there with the EMS folks and fire chiefs, and I tried to get them to play. So we played like Mario Bros. U, which was a really good hit. Everybody we probably played more of that because we passed the controller.
Right.
So we would die and pass the controller around the room, and everybody kind of played.
That's so cool.
And then we played Smash, which was a little intimidating for most people. There was another person there from a tech company who also video games, so we were good, but everybody else was like, I have no idea what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. And then we played Kart, and Kart was a big hit. But that Mario U went a long way in terms of the co-op, because I just pulled out Joy-Cons. I brought 4 Joy-Cons and a Pro. So we just started passing out Joy-Cons, showing people how to play, because we were tired, and, not that it's like my job to be a cheerleader, but one of the things that I like to do in an EOC environment when we're doing emergency stuff is, if you're slow, you want to kind of keep spirits light.
Right.
Crack a joke or two. Don't let people get too overwhelmed with the yeah. So we did some of that, but I'm sure I'll talk about Super Bowl on DLC or PSVG or something else.
Right.
But we have some news in the Nintendo world, so Caroline, why don't you take it away with the news block?
Yeah, news block. All right. So SDK, yeah. Microsoft is going to lead a developer section at GDC that presents a new updated cross-platform dev kit that will bring Xbox Live with more features to Android, iOS, as well as the Nintendo Switch. So Xbox on the Switch. Have your achievements, clubs, friends list, and more on the go. Now, Dev wants us to answer, what would we like to see come of this?
Do you think anything is... so before we answer this hypothetical, do you actually think this is going to translate into much? Do you think 2 years from now you're going to be seeing a lot of Xbox logos on Switch?
Not really. I thought that really the only big presence that was needed for this was Minecraft. Mm-hmm. Isn't that...
I believe the story, the way it's going, is because they did it with Minecraft. Now they're looking to offer this to other third-party platforms and third-party games. So you could potentially see, like Fortnite, for example, if you wanted to use your Xbox Live account on Fortnite via Switch, you could.
Right.
And they're trying to open up some of those features. I guess...
I'm trying to think, the only thing I would be interested in is maybe a Cuphead thing. Because Cuphead is Xbox and technically Windows 10, so...
Yep. So, Cuphead on Switch would be great.
Yeah.
So just respond to that. That'd be good. I didn't take any of these headlines or news as any games were coming. I don't think that's going to happen at all. This is just
firmware thing.
Yeah, it's just a little software thing. I'm not sure how many people will use it, if at all. And if it actually becomes something that begins to propagate throughout the system, I'm not exactly sure. I'd be interested to see how far Nintendo lets them push this. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot in Nintendo's favor here. That being said, when the first time I played Fortnite, literally the first day I played Fortnite, I was using the Xbox Live voice chat app with Coach on my Switch.
Speaking of voice chat, there's another part to this.
Oh.
Vox, the company that powers voice chat in Fortnite, is going to be releasing their SDK for text and voice chat to be used by all third-party developers.
Now that makes more sense, because now, hopefully, possibly, we actually have a legit voice chat, functionality.
Right.
Maybe Nintendo lets go of their little app functionality. I don't think so, but maybe they will. But back to the Xbox thing, I think it's cool. I'd be interested to see how far they take it. Clubs and achievements, I guess people do care about achievements. We see this every time we get asked for questions. We know that several of our own staff members do. So if they could earn achievements by playing Switch on the go for Xbox, I think that would be something that would get them to try and play it. It's definitely not me. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
But to answer Dev's question, what would I like to see come of the news? Stronger partnership. I think this is a crazy thing to utter into existence.
Yeah.
But should Microsoft's little streaming app thing take off, this thing that they're doing with their next console, if they let it run on Switch, that'd be dope. And it'd be really cool. Instead of Nintendo trying to do it themselves, let Microsoft do it. Let them do it for you, and maybe you get a cut of revenue based on players that check in through Switch or something. I have no idea how to do the business side of that, but
people like their achievements, so I think the achievements thing is pretty cool, and I would like to see that making more of a presence on Switch.
See, it's interesting. the thing that I'm having a hard time, I guess, coming to grips with is it's one thing to make it available for folks to use, and it's another thing for folks to actually deploy it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking of like Wargroove. Wargroove has all this crossplay stuff. Like, do they want to push your Xbox account through Switch, or do they want to stay natively like in Switch land? Because I could imagine that like there's also like kind of there's a support issue here. Because think about you're somebody that doesn't have an Xbox console, right? Or has a PlayStation console or something like that, and you boot up your Switch version of Wargroove, and it asks you, do you want to use your Xbox Live account? And all of a sudden you get really confused. You're like, what? Why am I being... I don't even know what that is. So, and then they're like, do I have to pay for that too? I got to pay for Nintendo Switch Online. I got to pay for Xbox. So,
Xbox, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's confusing. Obviously, we play games where you can log in as any different account over, many, many different times. So I'm not trying to say it's confusing. I'm just saying like those questions will be asked at some point. Somebody will call somebody, if that happens. And I wonder if that's actually something. I guess ultimately, what I'm trying to say is I'm wondering if this is something that actually is worth doing. Like, is there a third-party developer out there that goes, finally? Finally we can use Xbox accounts on Switch. Like, is it something that provides, like, a real value?
Does Xbox still have those silly avatars? The ones that look better than me's? Like, I'm wondering...
Them, and personally, the new ones, I think, look worse.
Yeah.
So, like, I still have my classic avatar. Like, you have to select...
I do, too.
So I have my classic avatar. And if you bought an Xbox, they'll try to move you to the other one. You have to actually navigate some menus to go back, because the new ones are, like... They're very Pixar-ish, like, characters. And they're limited. Plus, like, on 360, I bought all this stuff. Like, Ohio State jerseys and everything. Like, paid them real money. And you can't use that with the new stuff. Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. So my avatar still looks edgy and old. But
yeah, that's the one that I still have, that one from like 2010 or something.
Yeah, I mean, without any store integration, without any like games, I think that are built around that, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. Now, if Microsoft wanted to start bringing some games over or helping share some game libraries, like if Rare Replay could make it to Switch,
absolutely,
that makes more sense. That's interesting.
It's a step into partnership, like you said. All right, moving on. Nintendo Switch is sort of getting a price cut, but not really. They are going to start putting $35 eShop gift codes in their Switch consoles. So you open your Switch, you buy it brand new, you get all of the hardware bells and whistles, and you get $35 to buy the game.
$265, not or $255, not
right.
Not $299.
Right.
That's boring.
Yeah.
That's lame. Like, is there somebody out there that's like,
I'd rather save...
I've been on the fence to get a Switch, but now that they put the gift card in, now I'm going to buy it? Mm-hmm. Like, does that person exist out there? That's weird.
It's weird that they're... Hey, baby kitten.
He's always up here. He knocks over my toys and stuff. Go on.
He's gravity checking. So Donnie's cat Kirby just popped up here on his desk. He's gravity checking. Hi, baby kitty. Anyway, I it's not like the biggest incentive in the world. I mean, technically you get $35 of free stuff to buy, but I would just rather it be a $249.99 price point and just take the full 50 off. He's just loving. Oh my goodness, he's rubbing faces. What a sweet kitten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wants to care about my cat.
No, I do. My name is Kirby. It's Nintendo related.
It's true. Continue on.
Continuing on, we have 2 new games for the February update on the Nintendo Switch Online service. Super Mario Bros. 2, which I was wondering where the heck was it in the beginning. It's finally here. And Kirby's Adventure.
Nice.
Both NES titles, and they are here.
Kirby's Adventure, I don't know, is it a remake? The 3D classic version that they released on 3DS is gorgeous. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, so I know which one you're talking about.
Like, it's all touched up, and like they did do some things to it. It's probably not like a full remake, but it's like pixel perfect. It's really sharp.
I don't know what that is. It's either a remake or a remaster or something, but I can't remember.
There's really good.
Several Kirby games on 3DS.
Oh, sure.
All right, so if you're interested in that, download it. Upcoming first-party titles release dates were maybe leaked by a UK retailer. I'm saving this as a rumor just because it seems a little iffy, but they accidentally let some dates show up on their site for 3 games. Daemon X Machina is supposedly coming May 24th. Luigi's Mansion supposedly coming July 19th. And Animal Crossing supposedly coming September 13th. Now, these are just rumors that people are saying, "Oh, we saw them on the site." They let it leak. I'm personally don't believe that a Luigi's Mansion game is going to drop in the middle of summer. It's more well fitted for the fall Halloween season, and I feel Animal Crossing does better in the summer environment because that's when we got New Leaf. You get a lot more perks if you are starting your game in the summer. You get bug catching on the island that gives you tons and tons of bells. Just from a standpoint of that, I mean, I guess Animal Crossing can come out whenever they feel like it. But
sure, I'm with you. I think Animal Crossing, if it were me, if I ran Nintendo, I wouldn't talk about Animal Crossing until E3. I wouldn't even mention it.
Absolutely.
Just I'd go Zero Dark 30. And then at E3, it would be my big game. I'd Treehouse Live Animal Crossing all day long. Yep. And then it would be out like the next week. Like the week after, like within weeks of E3.
Probably by the end of the month. Yeah. I think definitely by, end of...
It would be my...
summer.
Here's our huge game. We know you want it. Here it is. Oh, and by the way, it's out 2 or 3 weeks. You get to play it. And then that way, leading into their fall direct, they can hit it up with holiday events and new things and new stuff. And I'm very interested to know if they have microtransactions at all or something like that, because Animal Crossing seems ripe for that.
It does. And the way that they've done it with their Pocket Camp app, it will be interesting to see what they decide to integrate and not integrate. So
cross functionality. Yeah, I definitely could see like some sort of, nothing that you would need. Nothing that anybody would even have to do, but like bypassing some cooldowns or progression or getting, going a little faster or like some specific designs.
A home starter kit where you get enough bells to pay off your first loan or something like that.
You can only get like Link's tunic if you buy the Link's, design. Something dumb like that I could see them doing. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't blame them.
I'd buy it.
It seems right. Like, I would buy it too. Like, I wouldn't blame them at all. That makes sense to me. I would do it too. But that said, that's where I would do Animal Crossing. Machina, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how big or small that game is. So the idea of getting a scope on it is hard for me. It could drop tomorrow. It could drop next year. And I have no bearings.
Q2 is out of the question considering we saw a very good amount of the game at E3 last year.
We saw a lot of what I would hope. I hope there's more environments. Well, we saw a lot kind of in this desert environment, and I just want to kind of know like game modes. Is it like a battler? Is there a campaign? Like, we just don't know much about it, so I don't know how long to expect it. And then I'm with you. It seems weird not to drop Luigi in fall, kind of taking that Mario release. We always say it. I say it every year. Nintendo standard, they want to sell you a Mario game and a Zelda game typically every year. Typically. Unless they have like a big Metroid or an Animal Crossing, you can bet on them wanting to get something Mario, something Zelda in your holiday shopping window. Because Smash proves it. It sells. Mm-hmm. Mario Bros. U Deluxe sells. Mario Tennis sells. Like, things with Mario on the box sell. And you want to have that out there on Black Friday. So that would make sense to me. I was going to ask you, although we should have looked this up before. Do you know when the other Luigi Mansions dropped?
Well, the Luigi's Mansion remake for 3DS dropped in October of last year.
Sure, but the main lines, do we know when they dropped?
The first one was a launch title for GameCube, because I got the bundle of that game.
That's right. I remember that. You're right.
I don't know when... No, Dark Moon hit in March. I remember missing the pre-order window, and I went into GameStop, and it was actually Kirby that was at the register, and he goes, "You're lucky I have one left." And then from then on, I learned to actually get the pre-orders in. So
nice.
He got one delivered to the store that was not accounted for. So it was a March title, if I remember correctly.
So I would expect that in a holiday, September, October, something like that.
Sure. Woohoo! So take that with a grain of salt. Speaking of salt, want to cook? Overcooked 2 has brand new DLC, and this is free. This is their, quote, seasonal DLC is what they're calling it. And it is in time for the Chinese or the Lunar New Year, which I think is great. There are 2 new chefs. One is a Chinese dragon, which looks phenomenal, by the way. And another one is a second pig. There's already a pig chef in Overcooked 2. But this one is kind of like a reddish magenta color. And I think it's supposed to be like feminine or something. I don't know. I just got a brief glance at it in the video. But I definitely need to download the update because, as I said, this is free. It includes 7 new stages and obstacles, including like a Chinese dragon dancing its way around the stage, so it like gets in your way when you're trying to get to the counter, and you have to wait for it to pass and get in through there. It's really neat. And it also is introducing a new mode that is going to apply to the base game, this DLC, and the Surf and Turf DLC pack that came out late last year that is basically survival mode adds time back onto the clock with every dish that you serve. So you're trying to stay alive as long as you can, so keep cooking. I'm excited. I mean, we started doing the Overcooked 2 thing, you, me, Jason, and Lucas, and we kind of just... we fell off after maybe 1 or 2 sessions.
PSVG has one proven law throughout our existence, and that is we cannot all play games together. It never happens. We can't stick to anything. We have no schedule that lines up. It just doesn't happen. That said, I started playing Overcooked 2 with my wife.
Did you see? Brian and I need to start playing it together.
I don't know why, but she's recently, like, I think it's just been like a... because I've been so busy with Super Bowl, I think it's just kind of like wanting to find something that we do together. Also because like we're running out of TV shows. Like that's her thing. She loves TV. And it's getting to the point where I don't even watch anything anymore because I'm just like, I don't care about any of this stuff. We've just watched everything like over and over again. And all the new stuff isn't really, I don't know, maybe I'm old. Like I'm not willing to like get invested into something new.
I just started watching cartoons. I've been watching the new Carmen Sandiego cartoon on Netflix.
Nice. Is it good?
So good. So good. Like, I was worried about the mechanic. I was worried that they're like, she's like a good guy, but not a good guy. And it's really good. If any of you guys are old school fans of the original Carmen Sandiego, I say at least give it a like or a little. Watch the first 2 episodes.
That's a long-winded way to say that she's been asking me to play video games. Like, let's play video games together. And she, I'm always like real, I don't know, picky. And when we typically play Life is Strange together. Narrative adventure games, decision-based games. She doesn't like gory things. She doesn't like scary things. She doesn't want to do anything. Nothing that requires, like...
shooting and killing?
Precision controls.
Okay.
She even almost struggles with, like, 2D Mario at times.
I do, too.
It's funny with her and my kids, no matter how many times I tell them, I do find this interesting. They have the hardest time running and jumping at the same time.
I do, too.
I naturally do it.
Brian naturally does it.
Just hold down the run button while you hit all the other buttons.
For me, it's that, especially on the old school controller, the outside button was your run, and then the inside button was your jump. So you're holding down with the base of your thumb, and no, wait, it's
it's the opposite.
You're holding down with the base of your thumb, and then the tip of your thumb is supposed to be doing the jumping, right? To me, it's counterintuitive. Like I want to be holding down with the tip of my thumb,
I think and the way that I think about it when I play 3DS game. I mean, obviously, I haven't played a real Super Nintendo, or a real NES in a long time. But even on Super Nintendo, I push the run button down on the tip of my thumb, and then press my thumb knuckle down to jump. But for whatever reason, they have the hardest time doing it. It's something I've clearly noticed. They can't do it. Like, they're impossible. They can't hit more than one button at one time. They have to just... It's hilarious. So,
it's counterintuitive to me. Brian has no problem with it. I think he's just learned and practiced. I didn't get into the Mario 2Ds, until I was much younger. Look at this baby. He is just meow, meow, meow. Give me attention, daddy.
Yeah. So we started playing Overcooked. We played like the first world, like maybe the first 3 levels. She finds Overcooked really hard, but she does enjoy it. And the single Joy-Con's easy. So Overcooked, Mario Party, it's kind of more her speed. We've been playing them, so I am getting my money's worth. I haven't just given up on this game forever.
Cool. our last bit of news involves Mrs. Emily Rogers. Miss, I don't
Juicy.
know. In light of the Metroid Prime delay, Miss Rogers has provided a snippet on how she expects Switch's 2019 to shape up. And Emily Rogers is pretty credible based on what we've seen in the past.
Not according to Kevin.
Not according to Kevin.
Kevin is not an Emily Rogers fan. I am, for the longest time, yes.
I am as well.
Yes.
I think she's definitely got her sources. So at least 5 first-party titles are going to launch in 2019, and up to 11 could arrive. At least 5 first-party titles launch, but up to 11. That's 6 more. So like the 5 first parties I'm thinking of are Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing.
Not counting those.
Oh, not counting those.
Not counting those. This is in addition to. So we know we have Luigi, we know we have Animal Crossing, we know we have Pokemon, we have Machina, like we know the games, we know we have Yoshi. Then she's saying that there are at least 5 more, and as many as 11 more coming this year. As many as, but she said 5 to 8. A couple are kind of maybe on that fringe, depending on how their development comes up.
I'm thinking most of these have got to be ports or like party games or offshoots of their main series.
She said which ones are ports.
Yeah. One is a Nintendo Labo kit.
Makes sense.
Okay. Sure. One is Metroid Prime Trilogy, which we've been debating if this is going to be a thing or not.
I hope it's remastered.
I hope it's remastered too.
Let me ask you, are you going to buy Metroid Prime Trilogy if it's not? If it's just a straight Wii game? If it's the same thing.
It can't be.
I can't.
It can't be. It has to be a remaster.
They need to remaster it. If they're going to do it again, they need to do it right. Like I can't just buy the same ROM again. I'm not going to. If it's the same thing, I'm not buying it again on Switch. I can't.
It's got to be a remastered. One is a secret title from Retro.
Assuming it's not been canceled.
Okay.
That's what she said. Assuming it's not been canceled.
Because if they're working on Metroid Prime 4 now, then technically maybe would have...
which they just took up, and we're not even sure that they have started on. Mm-hmm. We just know that it's being rebooted, which means that, it's funny, you guys talked about the news last week. You guys did a great job, by the way. But I've seen a lot of people on Twitter go, I'm happy to wait on Retro. I'll see Metroid Prime 4 in 2021. I'm like, you guys don't understand. If they're completely rebooting the game, I have no idea. Like, 2021 is pretty quick turnaround.
I know.
We might not see this thing until 2023. It might be a next console. Like, it could be a while. Like, just quit thinking about it. Just don't even think about Metroid Prime for a while.
I mean, let's think about how long it took them to make Kingdom Hearts 3. And they knew that game was coming out, and it was still a 14-year game.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Anyway, the other ones, 2 are eShop exclusives. I don't like that at all.
Oh, we couldn't be further apart. I was going to say this is the most exciting part of the news for me. Please go ahead.
You know how I am about my physicals versus my digitals.
Oh, so that's the least of my concerns.
That's just it. I think if they're making it an eShop exclusive, it's going to be like, you remember that Wii U thing that they had for Animal Crossing? Where it was just you downloaded the thing when you were in the plaza. It's another push in the, hey, physical's dying, digital's the new thing. And I just pray that limited run games gives me what I need for the rest of my life, because it's not good.
I'm really excited about this. I've brought this up occasionally on Shaq for the past year and a half, 2 years with Switch. One of the things that I feel like I'm missing on Switch that we had on Wii U that I got a lot of enjoyment of was these smaller indie-like Nintendo releases. We got things like NES. What was it?
Oh yeah, NES Remix.
I was going to say Rewind. I was like, I know that's not right. NES Remix 1 and 2. We got Donkey Kong Tipping Stars and Mario and Friends and Amiibo Friends, and even I did forget about those. I now that you're saying that, it's not as big of a thing. There have been a lot of WiiWare. Think about 3DS. We have tons of those. Box Boy and Street Pass games. There's so many great little games that they used to do on Wii U and 3DS that you pay $7.99, $12.99, $18.99 for, and they were great. And I would love NES Remix, all of them, an SNES Remix. Just yes to all of that.
Super Nintendo Remix, no doubt.
And if they did any of that, and you know my love affair for Box Boy. anything like that. The match 3 games that they've done.
Yeah.
What was we did Mario Puzzles and Dragons, which they did like a full release on, and then they had like a DLC option.
Yeah, that's right.
They have a lot of this stuff on 3DS that I've played. I own probably 20 or 30 of these things. And for whatever reason, we haven't seen any of it on Switch, which doesn't make a lot of sense because with so much mobile tie-in, you think that they would lean into some of that. I would love to see Fire Emblem Heroes on Switch. Even if it was like a limited, constantly, not constantly being updated game, but do that.
Well, they've done it with Pokemon Quest, that it's both mobile and it's both Switch. So
yep,
it can happen. Maybe we do start getting like our Animal Crossing Pocket Camp available on Switch or something like that.
That one I wouldn't be as excited for, but yes,
things
like that.
Yeah,
I was really excited by this news because I hope that's what she's referring to. I hope we're getting some smaller, experimental type stuff.
Mm-hmm. To continue,
you know what I want, by the way, because I wanted to say this for a while now, and I don't feel like I'm having an opportunity to do it. The 2D Mario levels that were in Mario Odyssey, like the 2.5D, I want an entire game of just that. That would be cool. That's what I want. That would be amazing.
Or at least put DLC in Mario Odyssey where that's just like one whole world or stage or something.
I'd pay them $60 for 60 levels of that in a heartbeat. So fast.
It'd be pretty good. In her list, 2 are mystery Wii U ports, one of which launched in 2013. That sounds like a Super Mario 3D World. Did it come out then?
You're right. Okay. That's correct. It's 2013. But she didn't say that. She said that she thinks it would be Pikmin or Game & Wario.
No way. So, it's got to be a 3D World.
I would hope you're right, because I think it would sell more and it would get more buzz. Game & Wario, I don't think it's going to get anybody's attention, especially with how good Super Mario Party is. I don't think that game's going to stack up in comparison.
People are more wanting a Pikmin 4 than they are wanting a port.
So Pikmin makes sense to me because of that. Pikmin makes sense to me if this mythical Pikmin game that we've been looking for 3 years, if it's shown at E3, it makes sense to bring Pikmin 3 over to Switch and go like, hey, the next Pikmin is coming out next year. It's next spring, right? It's Yoshi in 2019, or was it 2020? And yeah, here's Pikmin 3 this holiday.
I just wanted to be Mario 3D World. I think that's the
best one.
It is, and that's the one that I can't believe. Like, honestly, I like Wii U Deluxe is great, but I think the best Super Mario game that came to the Wii U was definitely Mario 3D World.
Mario Bros. U's better, but they're both great.
I think I'm biased because I like cats, and the whole thing is
That's
cats.
True. The cats are really good. Mario 3D World's better than Odyssey.
And you unlock Rosalina, and you get to play the whole thing again as Rosalina.
I stand by that. Not to beat the dead horse, but 3D World's better than Odyssey, and it's a better game.
I absolutely agree with that. I think it's definitely better than Odyssey.
It's just I don't know. It has more of like a Mario World feel. I don't know. Who cares? But yeah, I'd be for it. When they said 2013, I thought the same thing you did. I was like, yeah, Mario.
I wonder what the Nintendo Labo kit is going to be.
Kind of hope they're doing something different, right?
Well, I mean, they've done a transportation one recently. They did the variety kit. They did the robot kit.
I meant you kind of hoping they do something different, like.
Well, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if they had like a cooking thing where you make your own like whisk blender and you.
I do not think that would be cool. I wouldn't want to do that.
It would definitely be cool for girls. Like, I'm not a cooker myself. I'm a pro at the microwave, but making yourself like putting the Joy-Con in the spatula or something.
Sure.
And
no, I get like the Cook It Mama-esque motion controls. I get where you're going. I just don't think so I think the evolution of Labo is they got to start making the video game part be fun. So in that regard, the idea that I would offer, my pitch, to prop up our board with video game crew, I think it'd be really cool if they came out with a board game that you played kind of in physical form that used like tags or, reflections or amiibo tags.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Like in a Labo kind of environment. our board game crew, they always talk about like these folks come out with these games these days where like the board games are like destructive, they're like disposable, and you do all these things and you like rip pieces and stuff like that. Like,
kill me.
Yeah, I don't think they would, because the Labo thing seems very centric on just the building part, but like the game part is lacking. They gotta do something with the game part. So
it's more of a here's some mini games that you can play with what you've made.
I would love a like a Nintendo Land sequel built around Labo. I think you could do like the Metroid Blast and the Hyrule Sword Battle game. You could do things like that with Labo that would be fun. But it would require them making the game. You know, they gotta make the game. The game can't be like little tech demos anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're tech demos.
Sort of. Which is fun. You know, like the little open world that we've got with the vehicle kit is fun. You get to swim, fly, and drive around, but you know, you do it for an hour and you're like, okay, I'm done.
All right, our news block is done. So guess what? It's Donnie's turn to take the Shack questions direct from you.
Direct. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and at one point I think I mentioned to Jason, I thought about doing like one of these a week. And then, to be honest with you, I think the reason I didn't do it is I think I might be like somewhat stepping on Arcadia territory.
Yeah, I see.
But Seth wrote in this week with a question, and this really just piggybacks off of the Emily Rogers news. He goes, "Can you give a little insight on the different teams within Nintendo and how they're organized?" And I think it's a really great question. Because
that is a great question because not a lot of people know, and I mean, I'm still learning what other developers are doing now for Nintendo anyway. Like, I mean, everything changes.
That's true. And it's very interesting because in the world of PlayStation, Xbox, you come to know these brand names, Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, the Coalition, 343, like these studios have names and they have clout, and especially E3, like their developers and their studio heads, they get on stage. Like with Naughty Dog, they have an entire documentary built around them. You know, like you get to know these people. You kind of build like a brand awareness. And it's something that Nintendo doesn't really do much, if at all, actually.
Yeah.
And even when they have games, like you don't have that big, giant splash screen for a developer. Like a lot of them have like a little credit scene, or like Hal has an infamous dog, but a lot of people have no idea what they're looking at. Could be a publisher for all they know. It's just not the Nintendo way. And even some of these that I'll read off, even some of these, you don't even know what games they're working on. They don't even announce them. Like even when they announce the games, they don't announce them. It's just not the Nintendo way. The Nintendo way is published by Nintendo. You know, it's just the company. So for those of you who may not know, here I'm gonna read down a list, kind of what they're doing or what they've done, and then you know, I want to say I am by no means an expert. I came up with the list, and then I did a little research to find some other ones. I'm not even sure if all of these are still doing things. I think they are. I'm pretty sure like we're really good here, but I might even be missing some. I
want to know what the research and development teams of Nintendo fit into this. If they're because R&D 1 through 4, you know,
let's kick it off with a bang then. Okay,
sure.
Nintendo Studios, formerly Nintendo EAD, which was formerly known as Entertainment Analysis and Development. These are also Entertainment Planning and Development. These are your folks. These are teams 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we've at one point in the GameCube, I think they had up to like 8 that were known to be working on projects.
The main ones back in the NES days were definitely R&D 1 through 4.
There you go. So a lot of people know these under a bunch of different stuff. Like I've always called them Tokyo EAD, which has like been a thing for a long time. Tokyo EAD 1, Tokyo EAD 2, and then they for a while there during GameCube they were EPD 1. So you had EAD 1, EPD 1, but in 2015 when Satoru Iwata passed, like he was kind of pushing for this restructuring. They brought all of this under one development house, like actually co-located together, and now they just call it Nintendo Studios. They still have team names, but the hard thing to follow with this is the teams are like ever changing. They go from one project and then they split up and they go. All the team members go on 8 different. It's not the same team every time, so you can't like Tezuka and Miyamoto and things like that. Like they go from project to project to project, so you never really have a good track on how many teams there are. Do the teams always stay on the same franchise? Most of them never do. You have somebody who works on a Metroid game, then they work on a Zelda game, then they work on a Mario game. But the thing to know about this is Nintendo Studios, formerly EAD, this is the Magic House.
Okay.
This is the house where they make Mario games. This is the house where they make Zelda games, where they make Star Fox games. Like, this is the big one.
And from my own personal knowledge about this stuff, research and development is not just making software. I believe R&D 3 or 4 was in charge of making pretty much all the software for the Famicom and the NES. But then one day they were tasked with making a fighting game for the arcade cabinets that had 2 monitors, and they're the people that came up with Punch-Out. So, it's not so much, R&D 1 is only doing Mario and Zelda, R&D 2 is only doing hardware. They're all intermingled, and it depends on what their need is there for and their qualifications that they have.
That was Iwata's vision. Iwata's vision for putting all these folks in the same house was having the software makers work directly with the firmware, the hardware, and the operating system folks. And in a large, when you follow the tea leaves and the breadcrumbs, a lot of what the Switch is because of this plan that was enacted back in 2015. His thing was like, well, we've got portable developers, we've got console developers, we've got portable hardware folks, and console hardware folks. We have different OS teams, different menu teams. We need to bring them all in a house, and then what you see the product, the Switch, where you have everything kind of in one, which is really his vision. That was his vision for the future of Nintendo. This is the Miyamoto house. This is the Tezuka house. This is the Onuma house. These are the bigwigs. Like, this is the one. Like, when you think Nintendo, this is it. So that's the big ones. If you didn't know them, that's what they're doing, and we have no idea what they're doing. Their secret little treehouse. They make Mario and Zelda games, so I'm sure they're doing some of that stuff. We talked about in the Discord this week, because you said that you felt like Animal Crossing has been ready for a long time, and I countered to you because with this, the way I understand it, they're always making things.
I agree.
There are thousands of Mario levels we'll never play because they're constantly making things for Mario games, like just to see. I guarantee you right now, at Nintendo Studios, there's a virtual reality Mario game.
Oh, absolutely! That doesn't surprise. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, they've probably had that since the Virtual Boy and before. That they just haven't. It hasn't brought to fruition, but I think probably within the next 5 to 10 years we would see something like that.
Oh, to get a tour and just to be a fly on the wall. That's the big one. I included second-party studios because a lot of their second-party stuff you basically consider in-house, like the next one on the list, Monolith Soft.
That's my baby.
Monolith Soft's the Xenoblade folks. That's what they're known for. Xenoblade 1, 2, and X. That's what they do. They do Xenoblade. Interesting, though, their LinkedIn had a report for a brand new game, and they've even released like some scope art. They're working on a brand new franchise, and that'll be their next thing. And we don't even know what it is, but it's a brand new IP. You better bet it's going to be some sort of action RPG game, because that's what they do. Some open world action RPG, but that's what they do. So they're working on a new franchise. Could port X. They've openly said multiple times that they would like to port X to Switch. So
I hope it happens, but we'll see.
I hope they're not doing it. I hope they give it all. They pay somebody to do that. That's one thing with Nintendo. They don't really do a lot of in-house porting.
They didn't have the money to do it. Is the reason that it hadn't happened first.
Well, most of the time they don't do in-house porting. Like all of the ports, Nintendo usually farms out to a lot of different folks. Like the Zelda ports, they didn't do any of those in-house. Even on 3DS, like with Grezzo, they brought them in later. But a lot of times they hand them off. Retro Studios, which is probably the most well-known, especially I think here in the States, because it's a Western studio, which is different. Also because they have just a tremendous legacy, dating all the way back to the 64 and everything that Retro is known for doing. But even outside of that, they did Metroid Prime Trilogy, they did Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, both incredible games, amazing games. Basically, and I've said this for the past couple of years that we've been tracking what Retro's doing. If Retro's name's on the box, you pretty much take it to the bank. It's going to be a really great game. That's it. Their name means that much. Retro Studios means to be an amazing game. That's what they do. They make amazing games. Now, according to Emily Rogers' thing, whether or not she doesn't know if their little project that they've been working on has been scrapped for Metroid, I really hope those Star Fox Racing rumors are true, because that was the rumor. The rumor is that Retro was doing a Star Fox Racer, and I want that game.
That would be amazing.
I want that game. I want anything retro. I want a retro kart racer. I don't even care who's on it, but Star Fox makes sense.
That would be great. I agree.
Game Freak, the big dog. They're huge. Pokemon. That's Pokemon Studio. That's what they do. So we know that they've got Pokemon RPG, supposedly next generation, the big one coming this year. So we know what they're working on. But they've also announced that they're working on Town. So they've got something else coming out, and it should be coming out next year. Depending on what they do with this next generation of game, I don't expect them to change from the Pokemon formula standard. It's still going to be a top-down RPG Pokemon game, because that's what they do. And because they make games like that, Game Freak typically is almost annualized. You expect a game from Game Freak basically every 1.5 years.
Years, yeah.
Yeah, for a long time now. So that's what they're doing. One Up Studio, this is like an assist house. These folks, they work on like basically all the Mario games. So they do ports. They did Mario 3D World. They worked on Odyssey. They did Captain Toad. Basically anything touching Mario, if they need extra help, they hand off to One Up. Camelot might be like one of my most favorite Nintendo second-party folks.
I agree.
Camelot's amazing.
Give us the amazing Mario sports games for the N64 guys.
That's exactly what this studio is. These are the Mario sports teams. They most notably do golf and tennis. They typically do a game every 2 years. Got to think they're working on golf. We've never had, the only console to not have golf and tennis was Wii U. So,
what was on the Wii?
They did both. Didn't
they? They had Toadstool Tour, and then we had a hiatus for a long time, and then we got World Tour. So they had a tennis game. They had Mario Power Tennis. Wait, Mario Power Tennis was GameCube. They had another tennis game on the Wii.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Now, Ultra Smash was the Wii U tennis.
Yep. And then they had the 3DS tennis game, and then obviously the 3DS golf game. I think they're working on the golf game. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
They've done other sports games. They've worked on Strikers, but they also did Golden Sun, which is a game that a lot of Nintendo diehards want them to come back. They've done 3 Golden Suns, and I don't think the last one that they did, 2011. It's been a long time. I think it's a dead franchise, but
you never know.
You never know. They could come out with Golden Sun, and Seth would be sitting there like, "What the hell's a Golden Sun?"
Franchise, and then all of a sudden this thing hits on the Wii, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!"
But Camelot makes great games, and preferably bias aside, they make great golf games. That's what they should do.
Every time I see their name, I just think of Wario and Waluigi when in the Toadstool Tour. Nintendo Camelot.
I think we both really hope that the next golf game kind of goes back to the RPG campaign. That's what we both want. That's what I want. So I really hope they do that. Grezzo. So Grezzo is a second-party studio. They weren't even like in-house until a while ago, but these folks, they remade Ocarina and Majora on 3DS. And they did an incredible job, by the way. Both of those games are must-haves, must-plays on 3DS. And
a game that I love.
Go ahead. Ever Oasis. Their first own IP, which I'm interested to know, do they port that to Switch? I don't think so, because I think it would have come out already. But do they follow up with something, their own IP, something for Switch? They got to be working on something Switch-related.
I think another Ever Oasis game would be good. I just don't think that it's a $60 game, ever. I don't even think that it was worth the $40. I love the game, but I think it's maybe a $30 game max.
Sure. So moving on from Grezzo, we go to Goodfeel, which is a great studio. This is the Yoshi house, and these are the just lovable, adorable, super fun to play, not hard or stressful video games. They do Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Crafty World. They did Wario Land Shake It, Epic Yarn. This is what they do.
Epic Yarn.
Yeah, so that's Goodfeel. We know what they're doing. They're working on Crafty World, so their game's coming out here in 60 days. HAL Laboratories.
Mr. Sakurai. Basically.
Famous. Iwata started at HAL Laboratories. Yeah, the HAL Laboratories goes way back with Nintendo. And this is Kirby's house. This is the house of Kirby. And they do everything. They did do Kirby Star Allies, so just most recently they put out a game. That's what they're working on. So they're going to be on to something new. The thing that I always want to bring up with HAL is HAL did Box Boy, which I loved.
It did. And
I loved all the Box Boys. I thought they're incredible games, especially for the price. I would love a Box Boy trilogy on Switch. Just wrap that up and port it over. Make it $15 and call it a day, because Box Boy is incredible. But they
agree.
do Kirby game. Hal has done like a bajillion Kirby games on 3DS. I think one year they released like 5 Kirby games on 3DS.
They're baby. I mean, like there are seriously at least a half dozen games of Kirby games on the 3DS.
Yeah,
and that doesn't include all of the 3DS eShop stuff. That's hardware.
Speaking of Emily's, rumor, these smaller games that she was saying that could fill on, it very well could be a HAL Laboratory Kirby game. Because what they do over there is they take game concepts, right? They come up with a concept, and they just put Kirby on it. And he's kind of like the test patient. He's the dummy.
Oh, that Kirby Dream Course. It's basically golf.
Yep.
And
pinball. They did the Kirby game with 3DS. They've got the platformer, the fighter. They've got the actual battle game, the Battle Royale, where you actually, like the fighter. Any of those things could come over. So that's what HAL's doing. Intelligent Systems. That's the House of Fire Emblem. And that's what they do. They make Fire Emblem games. The thing, and we know what they're doing. They've got 3 houses coming out this year. Typically with Intelligent Systems, they have games, specifically Fire Emblem, long tails. They come out with a game. It's got a ton of DLC. They support it with events. Like, it goes on. So that's typically what they do. When they come out with a game, that's what they do for a year or two, is they support that game.
Yep. They also do Paper Mario, by the way.
That's what I was going to say. And the fun fact is they also do Paper Mario, which I'm not sure how many people know that. Like the studio that does Fire Emblem does Paper Mario. And not like a Paper Mario, like all the Paper Marios. Like 64. Yeah. They've done them all, which is nuts. It's crazy. Which is fun.
It's great. They're one of my favorites, too. Yeah. Obviously.
Indie Cube. This is the party studio. They do Wii Party and Wii Party U and Mario Party and Mario Party 100 and Wii Sports things, and that's what they do.
Not their hearts.
Hey, those party games sell.
Someone's gotta do it.
I would say, actually, if you look it up, you look at like the Wii numbers and you look up like Mario Party, like they actually, I wonder if they have like a developer meeting where they all get around a table, like this mafia family thing, and he's like, hey, you make fun of us all you want. You look up there in the top 10, and we got 3 of the top 10 games up there.
That's awesome.
Because they sell.
Like a mafia.
Sure. Next Level Games. Really underrated. I'd say these folks did Metroid Prime Federation Force most recently, which a lot of people are like, ooh. I liked Metroid Prime Federation Force. Wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. For a shooter on 3DS, it was pretty impressive. I'm interested if they'd ever think to port that to Switch. Because I actually think it could sell well. I think it could do well because
I think it was so poorly received in general that I don't think they would ever.
Hard. Really challenging game.
That's what I've heard. I've never played it, but I've heard it's actually very difficult if you don't have friends to play it with.
Yeah, these are also the folks that do Luigi's Mansion. And
yes, they do.
What they're working on. They've got Luigi's Mansion coming out, so they have the history of that. They did Strikers. And I just want both of those.
Strikers Charge was good. I did not like Super Mario Strikers.
And they did the Punch-Out remake for Wii.
Okay, so that's taking... I guess... I don't remember if R&D 4 was still doing Punch-Out then, so maybe Next Level Games is part of R&D 4.
Yeah. Creatures Inc. These folks do Pokemon spin-off games. These are the Pokemon Shuffles, the Pokemon Battle Troze. That's these little folks, and they do. I'm sorry, no. I'm way off. I looked at Genius, which was the next one. Genius is the Pokemon spin-off team. They do Pokemon Shuffle. They do Pokemon Battle Troze. Creatures Inc. is a Pokemon spin-off dev that most recently is doing Detective Pikachu, which I do wonder. Do we see Detective Pikachu something show up on Switch with the launch of the movie?
I think that it's going to be one of those really bad, hey, it's a box office cartoon hit, we're going to make a game that goes along with the events of the movie type thing. You remember those Harry Potter games, how they came out with every Harry Potter game? I feel like it would probably be one of those. Not exactly what I would play, but who knows?
So that reaches the end of my book report. Like I said, there's probably others that I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because they don't, it's hard finding them because for example, when Luigi's Mansion 3 was announced, I even mentioned that Next Level is working on it. We assume they are, because of the history and we don't know. It's not on their website. Like, if you go to their website, they don't, like Nintendo's just, I don't want to say shady.
Rap so much about it.
It's not how they do business.
It's been teased, but I really do want Kevin and I to do, this would be something really nice for Arcadia one time, or just to go through is the history and development of the research and development teams of Nintendo and where they stand today.
I would love for an episode just focused on Hal Laboratories' lineage is so scattered across Nintendo. It's insane. Yeah,
I know. Absolutely. Like, it's Hal. Without Hal, there is no Nintendo, guys. Period.
Pretty much. So, yeah, that's it for the show. I hope, Seth. Hopefully you feel a little more informed, educated. You got your little Arcadia lesson on everything first party Nintendo, and hopefully you'll know what to expect. I want to see Camelot's logo this year, E3.
Camelot.
That would make me so happy if that came up. I mean, hey, it could be one of those games. Right?
It could be one of those first-party games.
Could be one of those games. They could show up at E3 and be like, coming out this fall, and all of a sudden we see a golf club, and Donnie, loses his mind on stream.
Everybody else is like, oh, man, and we're just like, oh, my God!
Mario Golf on Switch is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good. People don't even understand yet. They don't even know.
He's going to come out just like it did for World Tour, and we're gonna be excited.
Oh, it's going to be good. Caroline, got anything else for the show?
Nope.
That's it.
Hopefully I will be alive this time next week and back in the shack. So just pray that I don't die from the stress.
I'm going to pray for that, because otherwise it should be me. And you don't want me just doing an entire show by myself.
We can call on our lifeline, Sean Capri.
I did light up the bat signal. Just let folks know if anybody out there has somebody that they would like join Shack, let me know. But I did light up the back signal saying, hey, with Caroline's move and Jason's plans, we could possibly use some stand-ins. I reached out to our Make Us Better family, Sean Capri, Mark Harabin, and the Nintendo Nostalgia crew. So we may see some of them shuffle through here. And of course, we've got PSVG ranks that I guess play Switch. I don't know. Devin and Justin say they do. I don't know.
We've got to have Dev on. We've got to.
We can always have Kevin on. Kevin always has Nintendo things to say. So, with that, we thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Nintendo Shack. We hope to see you back next week. And that's it.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I forgot the line already. What?